Hi, I'm Daniel, 25 years old, living in Mississauga without a high income. Today, I'm letting you follow one full, ordinary day of mine, from cooking a cheap Vietnamese meal with my housemate, to driving passengers out of the city, to grocery shopping at Costco. Nothing fancy, nothing staged, just the honest, slightly lonely, sometimes funny reality of getting by in Canada. The very first thing I do after opening my eyes isn't checking my phone or making coffee. It's picking vegetables. Yeah, you heard that right. Before my brain is even fully awake, I'm sitting there sorting through a pile of greens, pulling off the bad leaves one by one, getting everything ready for a pot of soup that has to last me through the whole working day. And let me tell you something, this process takes way more time than you'd ever expect. You look at a bunch of vegetables and think, 5 minutes, easy. No, it's leaf by leaf, stem by stem, while your eyes are still half closed and your body is begging you to go back to bed. But this is the deal I made with myself. Cheap food takes time. Time is the one thing I can still afford. While I'm doing that, the girl I share this house with is already at the stove, frying fish. Look at these pieces of fish. These are the cheap ones, the kind nobody fights over at the store. When you fry them up, they come out pretty hard, honestly. A little chewy. You bite down and your jaw gets a workout. Once the fish is going, I take the vegetables I picked earlier and wash them. And while I'm at the sink anyway, I knock out the pile of dishes sitting there too. That's just how it works in this house. She cooks one thing, I prep another, I wash, she fries. We help each other with everything. It saves time. So here it is. Bo Jiao Shar Ert, lemongrass chili beef. This is not just a dish, my friends. This is a certificate of citizenship. I start with the green onion and the garlic, laying everything out on the cutting board like I actually know what I'm doing. There's something calming about this part. The knife, the board, the quiet of the house. When you live far from home, cooking your own country's food is the closest thing you get to a phone call with your childhood. Now, the beef. Watch closely, because this is the most important financial lesson of the whole video. You cut it small as possible. No, smaller than that. Keep going. Because here's the thing, beef in Canada is not cheap, and I am not in a position to have feelings about portion sizes. Every little piece you see here has been carefully calculated by a man who checks his bank account with one eye closed. I'm not spending $1 extra on beef. Not today, not this month, possibly not this decade. Then comes the garlic and the onion, and I use a lot. Like, an amount that would concern a normal person. But you know what? Garlic and onions are genuinely good for your health. That's not a joke. That's science. Probably. And look, I may be poor, but I don't want to die early. Dying early is expensive for everyone else, and I refuse to inconvenience people like that. So into the pile it goes. My blood vessels will thank me even if my breath won't. Next up, the onion, the big one this time. You cut it into small pieces like this. Nothing fancy, just honest little chunks that'll go sweet and soft in the pan later. And then, one chili. Just one. I know a Vietnamese dish called lemongrass chili beef, and this guy shows up with a single chili like he's scared of it. Well, here's the thing. I am scared of it. I had surgery for a perforated duodenum last week. Yes, last week. My stomach literally sprang a leak, and some very patient Canadian doctors sewed me back together. So forgive me if I'm not in the mood to test the repair job. I really don't want to go back to that hospital. The food there was worse than mine, and that's saying something. Now the seasoning, and this is where the magic actually lives. Get a small bowl, 1.5 spoons of fish sauce, the backbone of everything. A little MSG, and no, I don't want to hear it. MSG is a gift to mankind. A little seasoning powder, 1 spoon of sugar, then you stir it, slowly, until every grain dissolves and it all becomes one smooth, salty sweet promise of what's coming. And then, the secret weapon, a bit of chinsu chili sauce. Now listen to me carefully, because this matters. This is not the chili sauce you grab off the shelf at Walmart. No, that stuff is an imposter. You have to go to the Chinese market for the real chinsu, the one that tastes like home, the one that makes a Vietnamese person's shoulders drop half an inch the moment it hits their tongue. It's a small bottle, but it carries an entire country inside it. And that's it. Everything is ready. The lemongrass goes in first. And the sound it makes hitting that hot oil, that sharp, angry sizzle, is honestly one of my favorite sounds in the world. You let it dance in there, and slowly the whole kitchen fills with this bright, citrusy smell that no candle company has ever managed to fake. Patience matters here. You wait until the lemongrass is just starting to turn a light, gold, not brown, not burnt, just kissed by the heat, and that's when the garlic joins the party. Stir it around, let the two of them get to know each other, and when the garlic hits that same soft golden color, it's time. In goes the beef. All those tiny pieces I cut earlier, and here's the thing, this is where being broke accidentally makes you a better cook. When the beef is cut this small, every single piece gets coated in that lemongrass and garlic oil. Every surface soaks up the flavor. Big chunks of beef keep the taste on the outside. Small pieces carry it all the way through. So yes, I cut my beef small to save money, but I'm telling you, it comes out tasting deeper, richer, better. Poverty seasoning. It's a real thing. I keep everything moving in the pan, and when the beef is almost cooked, still a little pink in places, the onion goes in. It softens fast in all that heat, turning sweet and glossy. Then I grab that little bowl of seasoning I mixed earlier, the fish sauce and sugar and everything stirred together, and I pour it over the whole pan. The sizzle gets louder, the sauce starts bubbling and clinging to every piece of meat, and I stir fry it all for another moment, letting it come together. And then, small detail, but important, I put down my chopsticks and grab a fresh pair. The old ones touch raw beef, and I am not letting raw meat germs anywhere near my finished food. I may live cheap, but I don't live careless. Well, mostly. Because here's where mostly comes in. Green onion and cilantro go in last, right at the end. Just enough heat to release their smell, and technically, the dish is done. But I'm standing there, looking at the pan, and my hand just reaches for the spicy chili powder. Let me remind you, I had surgery on my duodenum last week. A literal hole, professionally repaired. My doctor would look at this chili powder and start writing my hospital admission form in advance. And yet here I am, sprinkling it on like a man, with no memory and no fear. I don't know what to tell you. Some people skydive, some people ride motorcycles. I put chili powder on my food 1 week after stomach surgery. We all choose our own danger. And now the moment we've been working toward, Bozao our hot from the pan, over rice. The beef is tender and packed with lemongrass. The onion is sweet. The sauce is salty and rich, and just spicy enough to remind me I'm alive. I'm telling you, if you follow my steps exactly, the small cuts, the golden lemongrass, the seasoning mixed ahead of time, this dish comes out incredible. And here's the number that matters, about $12 total. That includes the beef, the seasoning, the onion, the garlic, everything. $12, and it feeds me for 3 meals. $4 a meal for food that tastes like home? Show me a restaurant that can do that. I'll wait. So here I am, back behind the wheel, back in the current of the city. This is the other half of my life. I drive people around for a living, and today is actually a little different because I've got a trip that takes me out of the city for once. For a guy whose whole world is usually a 15-minute radius, this basically counts as an adventure. I even feel a little excited, which tells you everything about how small my life has gotten. Let me tell you the truth about this job. Because people think driving is steady money. It's not. It's a lottery you play every single morning. Some days I sit in a parking lot for 2 hours, watching my phone like it owes me an apology. And by the end of the day, I've made barely enough to cover the gas I burned waiting. Those days, I do the math in my head on the drive home, and the math just quietly laughs at me. But then there are the lucky days. The phone won't stop, ride after ride after ride, and by evening, I've made enough for a whole week of groceries. On those days, I walk into the house like I won something. My housemate can always tell. She says my face has 2 settings, empty fridge and full fridge. She's not wrong. I laugh about it, because what else are you going to do? But somewhere underneath the laugh, there's a small knot that never fully unties. When your income is a coin flip, you learn to smile with one hand on your wallet. Today, though, is a good day. I'm picking up 2 Vietnamese passengers going from Mississauga all the way to Burlington. And I have to be honest with you, the moment they got in the car and started speaking Vietnamese, something in my chest just loosened. You don't realize how much you miss your own language until it's suddenly sitting in your back seat, arguing about directions. For 1 hour, my car wasn't a workplace. It was a tiny piece of home on 4 wheels. And then we leave Mississauga, and let me show you something. This right here is the rest of Canada. Trees, forest, more trees. Then, for variety, some slightly different trees. I love this country, I really do, but I'll say it straight, these drives are boring. Back in Vietnam, every road is alive, motorbikes weaving, street vendors shouting, someone grilling something that smells incredible on every corner, life pressing in on you from all sides. Here, grass, sky, silence. A highway that goes on forever like it forgot where it was headed. People even grow corn along the road out here, and further along, they raise horses. Actual horses, just standing in fields, watching cars go by. And here's the thing about those horses, I swear they judge me. Every time I drive past, they lift their heads and stare, and I'm sitting there in my little car with my check engine light flickering, and I think, that horse eats better than I do. That horse has never worried about rent. That horse has a whole field, and I share a house. At some point on this highway, I lost a status competition to livestock, and honestly, I've made peace with it. My passengers laughed at that one. Then they got quiet, looking out the window at all that green rolling past, and I got quiet too. That's the thing about these long, empty roads, they give you too much room to think. No noise to hide behind, just you, the hum of the engine, and every question you've been avoiding, lined up on the dashboard like passengers who never asked to be picked up. I love this country. I chose it, but some evenings, on a highway with nothing but trees on both sides, love feels a lot like being alone in a very beautiful, very quiet room. I dropped them off in Burlington. They thanked me in Vietnamese. And for a second, the car feels warm. And then the doors close, and it's just me again. Me, and the road back, and the same trees in reverse order. But the day isn't over yet, because there's one last stop before home, a place every broke person in Canada knows by heart. The place where my wallet and my willpower go to fight it out under fluorescent lights. My housemate's already waiting. Let's go! I'm working on writing a voiceover narrative about a Costco trip, something conversational and personal that blends humor with genuine moments, touching on prices and the quiet drive home afterward, aiming for around 4,000 characters. So, here we are, Costco. My personal pick for cheap shopping in this country, and I say that with the confidence of a man who has compared prices like it's a full-time job. Now, fair warning, they don't do retail here. Everything is bulk. You don't buy chicken, you buy a small farm's worth of chicken. But honestly, whatever. I can buy it and stockpile for a few months, and when you live the way we live, a freezer full of food feels like a savings account you can actually eat. One thing you should know about Costco in Canada, it is always packed, always. I have never in my life seen an empty Costco. I don't think an empty Costco exists. I think if a Costco ever went quiet, scientists would show up to study it. And the place is huge, genuinely huge. I'm not exaggerating when I say I could get lost in here. Somewhere between the paper towels and the flat screen TVs, a man could just disappear, and they'd find him 3 days later living off the free samples. We head straight for the meat and fresh food section because that's really all I want from this place. The meat here is fresh, it's good, it keeps for a whole month with no worries, and it's cheaper than outside. Look at this bottom blade pot roast, boneless, $23.99 a kilo. Pork loin, center and rib, boneless, $7.49 a kilo. When you cook every meal at home, these numbers are basically poetry. And then of course, the celebrity of the entire store, the seasoned rotisserie chicken, $7.99 for a whole chicken. Everybody loves this thing. It's famous. It's practically a Canadian institution. And me, I've eaten it so many times that I'm sick of it. That's the sad truth of being broke even. The cheap miracle food loses its magic when it's been dinner for the 100th time. $7.99 and I can't even look at it anymore. That chicken and I need some time apart. Oh, and toilet paper, $10 off. Grabbed it immediately, no hesitation. Straight into the cart. Look, I eat little, but I poop a lot. That's just the economics of my body, and I don't make the rules. And that's honestly everything I bought. Mostly meat. That's it. Because here's the danger of this place. You walk down these aisles and everything tempts you. Every single item whispers your name. The giant jar of snacks, the fancy blender, the jacket you absolutely do not need. You want all of it. Luckily, I have a built-in security system. My wallet. My wallet stopped me right on time, like a good friend grabbing your arm before you text your ex. Thank you, wallet. You're the only one keeping me humble. We pay, we load everything into the car, and we head home. And this is my favorite part of the day, honestly, the drive back. The parking lot lights coming on behind us, the trunk full of a month's worth of dinners, my housemate half asleep in the passenger seat. Nobody's talking. Nobody needs to. The road is quiet, the way this whole country is quiet, and some nights that quiet still gets to me. Some nights I miss noise. I miss streets that never sleep. I miss voices spilling out of every doorway. I miss being somewhere that feels crowded with life. Out here, it's just streetlights and empty lanes, and me, 25 years old, 10,000 kilometers from where I started. But tonight, I'm okay with it. Because tomorrow there's soup already made, and fried fish, and lemongrass beef in the fridge. There's someone at home who splits the dishes and splits the bills and laughs at my worst jokes. It's not a big life. It's not the life they put in the brochures, but it's mine, and I built it with cheap fish and small pieces of beef and a wallet that knows when to say no. Being alone in Canada, it never fully goes away. It just gets softer. It gets softened by a shared meal, a shared house, a discount on toilet paper, and the ability to laugh at all of it before you fall asleep. The trunk closes, the lights flicker on. Another ordinary day in Mississauga ends the way it began, quietly, cheaply, and somehow okay.